Oh, hello all. It's Susie here from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all well, looking after yourself, being kind to yourself, being kind to your beautiful animals, your beautiful pussycats, your beautiful dogs, just any animal you've got, and generally just being kind to people in this world just to make it a better world and a better place. Today I thought I'd do a market overview and just look at all markets, crypto markets, obviously fiat markets as well, obviously equity markets, commodity markets, as well as crypto and foreign exchange markets as well. But we have seen crypto markets improve certainly in the last week or so. And Bitcoin is obviously, it didn't head down to 3,800, which all the people were talking about, the tech guys and that sort of thing. I think it looks pretty good, Bitcoin, actually, here at the moment. Don't forget, it is going into the halving of its fees on the 14th of May. And some people believe that with the halving of fees, it's going to reduce the supply in Bitcoin because the miners are only going to get 6.25 Bitcoin for everything they actually mine rather than 12.5. And it should see some sort of support there. We've also had Tim Draper out there talking about it, and he's a very well-known venture capitalist talking about Bitcoin in 2023 getting to something like 250,000. And don't forget, Bitcoin, as everyone knows, has only got 21 million supply, and it's basically 18 million or so has been mined. So that looks that's pretty interesting. Keep an eye on that. Ethereum's done really well this month, and it doesn't surprise me because they've gone on to their new tech version 2, which is proof of stake. And also there's been a couple of stories out re-Ethereum, and I might have a look at that and reconsider Ethereum. I don't actually have that in my portfolio. I'm not sure how quick it's going to be with the proof of stake. It's obviously going to be a lot quicker than proof of work, that's for sure. There's some talk that Bitcoin was potentially looking at that, but I'm not sure how real that is or not. But the chart accounting firms are actually starting to use Ethereum as well for their platforms and for some of their clients. It has done well this month, that's for sure. And, it seems to, have some pretty good support. XRP is doing well this month. Did get to around the lows of about 18 cents or so, but has seen pretty good support down here. Down at 18 cents or so. And look, I'm still as bullish XRP as ever. I think it is one of the best cryptocurrencies out there, certainly for payment systems, and it should be a lot higher than this, and I've said that before, much higher than this. I think it's a joke where it is. It seems to me that all the crap cryptos, or all the Garbology cryptos, are all high, and all the really good ones that have proper business, proper revenue, proper clients, proper partnerships, all seem to be low. And and that's also, even when you look at Tether, for example, Tether USDT, I did a video on this in Patreon. Tether should not be at $1, okay? Tether is supposed to be a stable coin. It's issued by Tether Holdings, which is a private company. Again, the same guy that owns Bitfinex is a part of Tether as well. They only, there's been audits on this. It's gone to the General Commissioner and the SEC and everything else. These guys only hold about 70% US dollars against Tether, okay? It should not be here at $1. Honestly, to me, I'd even go as far as say it's a bit scammy. It's Garbology. Tether should not be at 1 for 1. There is talk that the Chinese buy Tether because they can get around the US exchange controls, and that's why Tether has been so well supported. A joke. Bitcoin Cash, Roger Vere's Bitcoin Cash, again, it has seen some performance, but not much. I'm surprised that Bitcoin SV, Satoshi Vision's still here, actually, to be honest with you, Craig Wright. He still hasn't come up with the goods that he is, Satoshi Nakamoto. I think that guy's just talking Garbology. That's my personal opinion. Roger Ver of Bitcoin Cash did come out and talk about Bernard's as a coin everyone should be buying, and I agree with him. I've got it in my investment portfolio. Bernard's is doing incredible things, seriously, and we'll look at that in Slack. They've gone into smart contracts. They're going to actually be, competing with the likes of Ethereum or any other platform that has smart contracts. They've gone into Africa. They're now in Singapore. The Singapore Monetary Authority of Singapore has actually given them, they've actually encouraged them to actually go in there and open up an exchange over there, and they don't actually need a license. The same with Ripple as well in Singapore, which is a great story for Ripple too. But Binance, I think, is cheap, where it is. It's $1 billion business. CZ, or what do they call that guy, Chang, whatever his name is just seriously switched on. That guy really is. As I said, they're in Africa. They're all over the place. They're investing in startups. They're huge in terms of listing new coins and tokens on their platform. These guys, as far as I'm concerned, really know what they're doing, and I think it's very cheap where it is for $1 billion exchange. Now, obviously, I'm not giving you financial advice. You've got to look at your own risk and that sort of thing. But for me, I think it's a good story for me particularly, and it's something that I do like a lot. But I'm not giving you financial advice because you have to look at your own risk and that sort of thing. Again, EOS, I don't like EOS. There's always been problems with EOS in terms of wallets and system and everything else. So for me, I don't like it at all. Tezos has done really well, but it's beyond me why. To me, it seems to be hitting at a wall at $3. I don't quite understand why it's doing so well when it is only a smart contract platform, okay? So it's beyond me why certain cryptocurrencies do well and other ones don't. Honestly, it really is. Even Stellar doesn't have a story as far as I'm concerned. Everyone says, oh yes, IBM's behind it, but the reality is they're not. IBM's doing their own cryptocurrency. They're doing their own blockchain. They're doing their own patents and everything else, okay? So I don't know, I think Stellar, I'm not, that fussed on it. Cardano ADA's coming out with their own system soon. I've got some dates on that which we'll have a look at. Again, I've always spoken about cryptocurrency like Monero and those sort of things, privacy coins in a regulated environment. I don't think they've got anywhere to be, particularly when they're connected to, the CDS sides of life and that sort of thing. Tron is doing really well. I do like Tron, I have to say. Forget about the FUD of the Justin Sun thing or whatever. It is cheap for what it is, at 1.5 cents. These guys have just got all their apps on Samsung. Don't forget they bought BitTorrent, they monetized that, they basically got the business for nothing. They went into Polynex. Justin Sun, whether you like him or whether you don't like him, the guy really knows what he's doing. He's extremely well connected, okay? So well connected, I'm not kidding. He knows all the seriously wealthy, in China and everywhere. And honestly, I think this cryptocurrency is going to seriously surprise people. Honestly, I've got it in my investment portfolio and I love it. I think it's going to really surprise people, okay? Hubies, I think, is a good story too. I did a review on this crypto.com. I did a review on MCO and CRO. What a joke, man, what a joke. MCO, people are paying, over $5 for a debit card when there's so many debit cards out there. You're competing with the banks and everything. And it's a typical story, right? Anything that's garbology, people are paying $5 for, and anything, that's got the proper business system, the proper revenue, the proper nuts and bolts, the proper utility like XRP, they're not even paying proper money for. I mean, this market is just completely, absolutely stupid in a lot of ways. Honestly, it has no idea. It's the most difficult market of all the financial markets put together. And what do? They go and buy all the Garbology coins and price them up, and anything that's got, proper businesses and proper revenue, they price them down. Again, I did a review on Sologenic, okay? Now, just because Sologenic is using Ripple's platform, it doesn't mean that Ripple says, hey, I believe in this coin, okay, or this token. It's like Ethereum. If Ethereum, takes on a coin on their platform, they don't give it the slap and seal of approval that it's a great investment, right? Just because Sologenic used Ripple's platform, it doesn't mean the project or the investment is a great story. But Sologenic is garbology, and I'll say it again. The fact that they did an ICO in February 2020 at 25 cents, and it's garbology, and it won't work, okay? It won't work because they're talking about pricing Sologenic against equity markets and cryptocurrencies when the cryptocurrency market is a 24/7 currency market, 7 days a week, and the equity market is closed on the weekend. I mean, it's not practical, and it's garbology. And yet, all the idiots out there in cryptocurrency market, now someone gave me a word, not idiots, it was a really good word. I've forgotten what that word was, and I was going to use it on my YouTube. When all the young DHs out there that think they know something and are trying to put me down, which is they're not going to do it, because guys, I know my stuff so well, and there's no way you can intimidate me, because seriously, I've been in markets for 37 years and I've worked with all sorts of men in terms of financial markets, and often I was the only girl on the desk. So give me a break, and I've got 3 brothers. So you think you can put me down? No way. No one in the no one can do that. I'm too confident for that. But they go and buy, Sologenic for 25 cents, man. I mean, where is their heads, man? Where is their heads? And it's garbology. Absolute garbology, man. I'll say it again, garbology. So, there's so many stories like that in this crypto land. Out of all these coins, there's so much garbology. Literally 99% of all these coins that you look at are garbology, okay? Garbology. What else can I say? And yet you're not prepared to listen to anyone that knows, or to pay anyone that knows, because you think you know better. And this combined with every other market out there is the hardest market of all, and the most riskiest market. Yes, the returns are there, but there's so much people don't know, honestly. And if you don't know, you just don't know, right? And yet people buy the absolute garbology, I have to say. And yes, I'm on a rant today, and I don't care what people say, right? So if we look at some of the important dates in my Slack for crypto catalysts, China is looking to launch a blockchain-based service network. They're already doing this in China to bring out their digital currency, and that's going to be very, very interesting. Futures, settlement date, CME futures. Now, I do keep an eye on futures, because you know what? They've done more futures in the market in the last month than ever before. And don't forget, Binance also has their own futures now. And Binance is doing more futures than BitMEX, and BitMEX have been doing futures for years and years and years, okay? So it shows you how incredible Binance is, right? Japanese are enforcing Financial Instruments and Exchange Act. Congress meets to discuss new stimulus bill. We've got the Bitcoin halving, okay, May 14. Futures, again, June. Mt. Goss submission for claims. Why insurance firm allowed to invest in crypto? That's interesting. Ethereum 2 phase 0 launch July the 30th. And we've got Atari and other things happening there. If we look at the soft analysis, which I really like this. I like these timelines. We've got Lines Link digital currency launch, and I think that's out of Japan. Japan tightens rules on a crypto margin trading. Cardano releases its Shelley. It's been a long time happening, Cardano, I have to say. Augur version 2 launch, and you've got SEC and all that stuff, right? So there is a lot of stuff going on in crypto land, a lot of stuff going on. If we quickly check out government stuff, we know that Argentina is in all sorts of bother at the moment. Bad news there. They've stuffed up their economy, and their fiat currency is worth nothing. Chinese city known for Bitcoin mining. Also, don't forget Binance is going into Bitcoin mining as well, okay? That reminds me. Binance is doing everything. Seriously, man. Everything. Smart contracts, mining, futures, going into every country in the world. Honestly, Binance is incredible. And I've got to say, the fellow that owns it is looking for investments. I mean, he could even take over another cryptocurrency exchange, okay? He could take over Huobi or Qcoin or something like that, because don't forget there's going to be a lot of amalgamation in terms of cryptocurrency exchanges, okay? So heaps of stuff going on there. What's happening in professional crypto land? Quickly go into that. The struggle, one of Canada's largest miners, European Central Bank. What else we got here? Anything of interest? India, 50 Canadian, no, not much. Institutional traders highly active as importance of Bitcoin rally grows clear. Okay, so I think institutional investment build. So we've got more instos coming in. What's this one? Starbucks, McDonald's rumored to be testing Chinese digital currency. I don't know how true that is. Sunny further in blockchain. Hong Kong regulator, blah, blah, blah. Okay, oh yeah, we had also Renaissance, one of the biggest managers out, and very, very profitable hedge fund Renaissance. They're looking at more investing in terms of the crypto market. So I keep an eye on that stuff because it really is of interest to me, and it just tells you how many times what's happening in terms of professional land. Okay, really important. If we look at Binance very quickly, Binance is doing everything. Seriously, they're in futures. Roger Ver was talking about them yesterday, but I've always felt Binance is a great story. They're into crypto mining. There's Samsung I was talking about with Tron. These guys are doing everything. They're mining their own cryptocurrency pool. I mean, they're doing futures. They're in everywhere. It's just incredible stuff, man. They've even put on the new Steam Hive on their for their ICO. Just unbelievable what these guys are doing. So let's just quickly go to Tron, because I think that's a good story in itself. And we know we love XRP, that's for sure. But Tron is doing a lot of stuff, and I think, honestly, I do like Tron. I've always said it, and I'll say it again. Tron is a great story. It's very cheap, and they're doing a lot. They've gone on Samsung Galaxy Store for all their apps. They're doing a lot more. They're really increasing their apps, and for the price of them compared to EOS or anyone else, Ethereum, they're doing well. They've also got more active addresses than anyone else in the last month, and honestly, I think they're a pretty good story. I am in Tron, and I do like it very well. But again, you've got to look at your own financial risk management and all that sort of stuff. What else we got here? Very quickly. So that's pretty much that. So what I'll do now is just quickly look at the main news for cryptocurrencies, the most read out there at the moment. So, Ripple suing YouTube, as you know, and I think they rightly should. YouTube should be much more responsible for its stuff. People are talking that XRP could get to 40. It should get to much higher than that, as far as I'm concerned. It's too cheap, way too cheap, as far as I'm concerned. Unconfirmed report, Binance crypto exchange under attack. I don't know what that's about. If it is, it better sort it out, because they have about 12 million clients. This guy, Peter Brand, has no idea what he's talking about in terms of Ripple and XRP. Seriously, doesn't know. Should keep his mouth shut when he doesn't know. Seriously. Latest news. Latest news. Something about Binance confirms reports of hacking attack. Let's have a look at that. We want to know about that if it's concerning Binance, because I've got money in Binance myself. Binance news. Binance CEO confirms reports of hacking attack assures funds are SAFU. So they've got a fund, an insurance fund, where they pay out if anyone gets hacked. CEO Binance Changpeng CZ confirmed that downtime experienced in Binance earlier on Wednesday. We reported an attack on Binance, a large cryptocurrency exchange, with hackers using phishing sites to try to attack unknown Chinese users. Now, be really careful here. So they were trying to get some crypto. It's a DOS attack, and I think everything's sorted out. Okay, their funds remain safe, and that's all you need to know. Your funds remain safe. Okay, so Bitcoin against US dollars is up 24%. Ethereum's up 55%. So it's actually outperformed Bitcoin by 25%. Tether's come down 19% to Bitcoin. Against US, it's down 4%. This should not be $1, as I said. This should be at 70 cents. Sell Tether. It's at a Garbology. Ripple against US dollars is up 25% and up 1% against Bitcoin. Bitcoin's dominance slightly down. It's about 64.5%. Bitcoin Cash is up 12% against US dollars, down against Bitcoin 9.75. Bitcoin SV Satoshi Vision up 20%. Down 3.5 against Bitcoin. Litecoin up 18% against US dollars, but down against Bitcoin 3.55. I don't, with Litecoin, I don't see a reason for Litecoin. They used to call it the silver of Bitcoin, but, it's proof of work. They use different miners, but I just cannot see a reason for Litecoin, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't know why it should be there at $46 when it's got hardly any clients, and yet XRP is at 21. Doesn't make sense to me. It will never make sense to me. BNB, Binance, up 37% against US dollars and outperformed Bitcoin at 10%. EOS, again, another Garbology crypto as far as I'm concerned. up 25% against US dollars, outperformed Bitcoin by 1%. I know the Chinese by EOS, and you know, you had one of the investment research people saying that EOS was number one, you know, about a year ago, which as far as I'm concerned was Garbology, and that's why the Chinese buy it. But anyway, Tezos hit a wall at about $3, I think, near $3. It's done really well, but I cannot understand it for the life of me. It's a smart contract platform. A lot of smart contract platforms out there, seriously, heaps, you know, and how do they differentiate themselves when they all do the same thing? Seriously, there's so many, you know, it's a joke, and this market is just stupid. Tesla's up 73% against US dollars, up 39% against Bitcoin. I mean, obviously it's a technical trade, and that's pretty much it. Cardano did okay this month, up 62% against US dollars and up 30% against Bitcoin. Chainlink up 73%, 40% against Bitcoin. Monero 37.10. Again, beyond me. Stellar 73%, up 40% against Bitcoin, so actually outperformed. Leo didn't do that much, and that's from Bitfinex, 0.25 down 19. Tron 33% against Bitcoin, 7%. Hubi 25%. Garbology, won't even say it. ETC. Let's have a look at anything else. Hedge, Neo, Garbology. I've seen so many of these things. IOTA, Garbology. Honestly, I've done so many reviews. NEM, Garbology. I could literally, the stuff that I look at here, I could tell you what's Garbology and what isn't. That I don't mind it, but it's expensive for what it is. Seriously, it's just a bloody browser, honestly. VeChain, a great story, should be higher than that. Honestly, man, I could just go through and through and through. Digibyte, what a joke. You know, Bitcoin Gold, Icon, I don't mind. And honestly, I've looked at so many. Hash, Hedera, scam. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say any more than that. Hive is the Steam offset. Justin Tron bought Steam it, and then they didn't like it, and they hived it off. Okay, but look, you know, shit. Excuse me for the French. It shouldn't be at 42 cents. That's a fact. Okay. What a joke, man. What a joke. I like Engine. It's a good story. Boy, when I look at the price of this, MCO, far out. It's not even a great. It's a coin. Oh man, you lock up your coin for 6 months, and it's at bloody $5.40. Garbology. Look, what can I say? I just shake my head in disbelief, honestly. Equity markets this month have done really well. The Nasdaq Composite's up 14%, 14.7. The S&P is up 8.9. The Dow's up 6.9. Even the Russell 2000's done pretty well, and all the other markets have generally done well. I think markets are up enough now, the equity markets. I think it's time for the equity markets to start rolling over. That's my view. Particularly, you know, I think enough's enough. It's up quite a bit, and you know, I think, you know, now it's been a busy overtraded market. To me, it looks like it's overbought. The technical, you know, the technology market looks very overbought to me. The VIX is a lot lower than what it's been, and I think the VIX now is, you know, is a sell. There doesn't seem to be any put protection in this market at the moment. Boeing, Facebook and Microsoft tonight, but I do think this equity market's done enough for the time being, and to me it does look short-term overbought. Okay, so if we have a look at the countries, you know, most markets are up over this month. Particularly, they've all done pretty well, and if we look at the sector, you'll see the Russell has lagged a little bit. Actually, the Russell's lagged a bit over the 1 day, but if you look at it for the month to date, technology's done extremely well. It's up 24% month to date. Okay, and that's a lot, seriously. If you look at consumer discretionary, up 16%. If you look at what else we've got, consumer staples up 12. If you look at healthcare, up about 13%. So I think markets have done enough, equity markets, and I think it's about time they came down, risk off. Honestly, they've done extremely well, so that's what I'm calling. If we go to the fixed income market, yields in certain parts of the curve are starting to rise, okay, and we have to keep an eye on yields because yields are not good for the equity market, okay. If we look at the Australian curve, yields in the 10-year and the 7-year have come down, have gone up slightly. In the longer in the curve, they've come down in yield. Okay, so there's a bit of a mixed curve here for the Australian curve. We've got 1 year's coming down, but then we've got the 30 years going down even lower. So that curve's quite mixed at the moment. If we look at the Brazilian curve, anything where it's emerging market debt, yields are rising. So you can't have yields rising in emerging market debt countries when equity markets keep going higher and higher. Canadian yields are all down, but the 1 year is starting to rise, which is interesting. If you look at China, yields have all come down, but the 1 year, the 30 years are up. France, keep an eye on, those yields have been going up quite substantially. Italy the same. Portugal the same. Even the German short end's going up, which is interesting. Greece is up. All the emerging market debt countries that have a lot of debt that can't pay them back, like Greece, like Italy, like Portugal, keep an eye on, and France. All the yields are going up. Even in Indonesia, yields are going up, okay? And if yields go up, not great for the equity market. Look at Italy, third largest bond market in the world, and yields have been rising quite substantially, okay? The 10-year, 1.73, okay? Keep an eye on those yields because seriously, yields rise, bad for equity markets. Again, Portugal, same story, okay? Investors want higher rates of return if they're going to buy their bonds. They don't like their bonds, clearly. Russia yields are down, but again, keep an eye. South Korean yields are going up in the longer end too. So curves are very mixed, but we are starting to see yields move up, okay? If we look at corporate credit, certainly in the last month, credit has done well, but lower ranked credit like CCC, is still waning a little bit. But we do see in the last month, credit has done well, okay, generally across the board. Okay, now I do think markets are going to give it back, in the next month for sure, leading into May, okay. If we look at the macro position, let's look at FX. We have seen US yen underperform, US particularly against yen. The Aussie dollar has done pretty well against the US. So if we look at the US dollar, for example, it's underperformed the yen. The yen's actually done better. It's done better against the euro and the pound, but the Aussie has done much better against the US dollar. It's up 6% against the US dollar. Kiwi's up 2.1% against the US dollar. CAD, Swedish krona and Norwegian krona. So the US dollar has come down a bit. I'm actually short US yen at the moment at about 106.52. I think the US dollar can really fall down against the yen just simply because the US keeps issuing paper into the market, keeps selling US dollars by funding, and selling US dollars and printing money. So I think US yen can come down quite a bit, okay? And I think that's a real swing trade for me. I'm going to stay short US yen, expecting the US dollar to underperform the yen, and it could even get to 100, okay? From 106.5, that's my view. If we look at Commodity Research Bureau Index, still down for the month, down quite dramatically. Baltics Index actually up, that's a shipping index, so that's performed a bit better. We've seen Brent and heating oil down quite a lot, 20-odd%, 33%. Crude oil down 41%. We know that, literally the curve has changed shape quite a lot, and even in the spot, it was like, got down to zero at one stage. There's no storage capacity or anything. Keep an eye on airlines. They're not going to do very well at all, okay? Airlines, because they would have hedged forward, and their forward books for hedging will be costing them a fortune, okay? Coal down quite a bit. Copper, silver are up. Gold's been up. And what else we got here? Sugar down. So all the soft commodities are down. What we've got happening tonight particularly is US GDP for the first quarter, and that's going to be really, really interesting. There's a Fed meeting, and there's Q&A answers at I think about 8:30 New York time. So keep an eye on that. There's a lot going on. Let's check out the economic calendar. And what do we got for the 29th? Got consumer price index, euro, which will be probably not too much. Those figures are lies as far as I'm concerned. GDP growth, core PCE price index, pending home sales, What else we got? Anything of interest? But yeah, the GDP is the big figure, and that's all I want to talk about today. So anyway, guys, I hope you're all well. Please do look after yourself, look after your family and friends, yourself, your parents. Be good to your animals, and just be kind to people in the world, just to make this a better place. Thanks very much for listening, Susie, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.